There is no sport in the U.S. that values its history as much as baseball does. And much of that history, at least the most colorful, comes from the minor leagues. Tim Hagerty is a writer and the broadcaster for a minor league team, the AAA El Paso Chihuahuas. He's also the author of the new book, Tales from the Dugout, 1,001 humorous, inspirational, and wild anecdotes from minor league baseball. Tim Hagerty was inspired to write this book after he heard a story from 1888 when in Texas a minor league baseball game was stopped when a wild bull charged onto the field.
It kicked up dust. Fans are shrieking. It knocked down part of the outfield wall. And I realized that I cover this stuff for a living, and I've never heard this story before. So it made me realize just how many stories there were throughout baseball history, the past and the present, that a lot of fans don't know about.
Particularly when you dig into the minor leagues, the history is so rich, so colorful, and there's so much that people don't know that you really had just a lot of material to work with, didn't you? How did you winnow the stories down? How did you find them and then winnow them down so that you didn't have a book that ran for 1,000 pages?
Well, first off, you're 100% right, because really every city that was big enough to have a train station has had professional baseball in it at some level at some time. And also the nature of baseball, there's so many games. AAA teams these days play 150 games a year. So minor league baseball, there's been more total sporting events in it than any other genre of sports in our country. So because of that, there are so many opportunities for crazy things to happen. As far as sources, I went through newspaper archives. I went to the Baseball Hall of Fame library in Cooperstown and used their great resources. I interviewed scouts. I interviewed players and managers, some of which in the book are from games that I saw firsthand.
You have some experience in Maine. In fact, you have experience in all 50 states except for Alaska. You've broadcast games in all of them. What are some memories that stand out for you from your time in Maine?
I love Maine. One of my favorite ballparks I've ever been to is in Sanford, Goodall Park. I still can remember that brick exterior when you walk in. It opened up in 1915, and I think the people at Sanford do a great job of letting people know the history there, that Babe Ruth played there. And when I was there, 2003, I broadcast a Vermont Mountaineers series at Sanford against the Sanford Mainers. And Sanford had this great pitcher, Andy Sonnenstein. 5 years later, Sonnenstein was pitching in the World Series for Tampa Bay. So to me, that's what's so fun about what they have going on at Sanford. You get that history, but also some real major league prospects that you can keep an eye on and follow them in the majors in years to come.
Part of what makes minor league baseball kind of irresistible to a lot of people is the names of the teams. And I know that you wrote another book on team names, but I ran across a bunch of names that I had not been familiar with in the new book, Tales from the Dugout. The Lansing Lugnuts, the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, the Amarillo Sod Poodles, which may be my favorite, the Modesto Nuts, and the Texarkana Casket Makers, to name just a few. This has become an enormously rich field because this is something that minor league teams are intentionally doing now, is trying to come up with the most memorable names they can, right?
Yeah, there was a time in baseball history that the minor league teams would borrow the major league team's name. The Bakersfield Dodgers, the Bristol Red Sox. You wanted to remind fans these are future major leaguers. But I think what minor league teams have realized now is that you can still do that. You can still have some of these wild names and still recognize that these are future major league stars. And teams have now taken it a step even further, where they are rebranding temporarily. A great example is the Portland Sea Dogs. They're playing as the Maine Whoopie Pies occasionally. And I love this. You and your viewers know what a whoopie pie is. But what it's done is it's taught people in other states what a whoopie pie is.
A huge difference between the minor leagues and the major leagues is not talent. The difference there in talent is often pretty modest, but there's a big difference in the money. Is that one key reason why the minor leagues just seem in a lot of ways to be more fun, certainly more freewheeling, looser, more colorful?
I think fun is a good word for it. I was broadcasting a AAA game in 2015, and there was a between innings wiener dog race, and 4 out of the 5 dogs ran where they were supposed to, but the other one went rogue and ran all around the infield. And it was a wiener dog delay in El Paso, Texas. And I thought, this is much more likely to happen in El Paso than it is at Yankee Stadium or Fenway Park.
It's the kind of thing that makes minor league baseball great. Again, the name of Tim Hagerty's book is Tales from the Dugout.